Welcome back to So What's Your Process, the show where we talk with creative people from all different fields about what they do and how they do it. I'm Kyle Dalsimer.
And I'm Allie Dalsimer.
And today, we don't have a guest.
No, we don't. We are the guests.
We are the guests because today is our season 1 finale.
Yep.
And what we're doing on this season finale is we're answering your questions.
Yep.
So we're super excited about that. But before we get into questions, I actually, if you guys will indulge us for a second, we've got a couple little updates from some of our season 1 guests that we'd love to share, right?
Absolutely. Some very exciting ones.
Yeah. So Dr. Jim Price, our children's book author, has continued to have a lot of success with his Harold from the Hood series. He was featured on Channel 4 Morning News and has a new animated short based on the book series that is out and available to watch online. We also have our friend Ellis Gage, our former child actor, who is still performing and having a wonderful career. He is back in Taiwan doing the Pulitzer Prize winning musical Next to Normal. Yeah. Once again, he had a great run of that about a year ago, and they brought the whole cast back. Oh, my goodness. Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah. And he stars in that show as Gabe. We also have our friend Cyrus Webb. Do you want to tell this one since he's your friend before my friend?
Well, I think he's both our friends.
He's both of our friends, but you knew him before I knew him.
So when Cyrus was on, he dropped a little secret. He was doing the Guinness Book World Records, and he had a secret that he announced that he was doing a book. Mm-hmm. Based on that experience.
And that's the Guinness World Record he was going for.
Guinness World Record for the most interviews in 12 hours. Mm-hmm. And he not only broke the record, but he
smashed it, blew it out of the park. He's holding that record for a while.
He's going to hold that record for a while, unless and until he probably decides
he breaks
to break
it again.
Himself. And so we're just super excited for him. He is having a banner year. He really is on a number of fronts.
That record will be in the new Guinness Book of World Records book next year.
Yeah.
And finally, and last but certainly not least.
Amazing.
Our friend stuff. Sam Henderson, who was our first guest of the season, who came on to talk about his short film Adieu, has some very exciting news. His film Adieu was just shortlisted for Best Narrative Short Film at the Academy Awards for next year. Yes. So what that means is out of every single short film that came out this year, his film was selected as one of the 15 finalists to get nominated for the Oscars. Yeah. So what's going to happen now is the voters for the Oscars are going to watch all 15 of those films and pick their 5 that actually get nominated.
Pick the 5 that go through.
And I'll tell you what.
We kind of called it.
We kind of called it. I remember seeing that movie and thinking, oh, it's getting into the Oscars. It's getting into the short list.
Yep.
And not only that, there is an app called Award Expert, which is for crazy. I'm a part of it. It's for people who are crazy like me, who love predicting the awards and like watching how things are going. And right now,
print out your ballots every year.
Print out your ballots, exactly. Right now, it's number 1 on Awards Expert for most likely to get nominated for the Oscar. I just sent a screenshot of that over to Sam last night because I saw it, and it is considered a front runner.
It's so hard though. I mean, you're one of the 15 best of the year. To get to that top 5, that's just
exactly.
It's so much to that, like, the preferences of the
and it's one of those things where all of those films are amazing, award-winning films. I've seen 2 other films that made that shortlist, and they're both also wonderful. But we over here at So What's Your Process are rooting for Sam Henderson, and we are rooting for Adieu. And we hope to see it on Oscar nomination morning, getting that nomination. So we'll keep you updated on that on our social media, and you can always follow Sam and follow
the questions, buddy.
Adieu. Let's do it. Let's go. So I've got the questions.
We have not looked at these questions.
Nope,
we just
I've got them up on the computer.
Compiled them really quick. But I'm really excited.
Let's take a look. All right. Oh, this is a good first question. Where did the idea of the show come from in the first place?
Okay.
You can answer that one.
Because the original idea for the show came from me, because so many people would ask me, what does my day look like? How does the process of being an author? How do you go about getting a book published? Like, how does that look? And I was like, I keep getting asked this a lot. And what's really interesting is that before I went through the process, I also was really curious about it. And then in talking with other authors, discovering that, there's a million different ways that this happens. And I was like, I've been encouraged by Cyrus to do a podcast. And I was like,
friend of the show.
No. But I was like, you know what? I actually have an idea that I think people will like. And so I mentioned it to Isabel and to you. And Isabel was like, yay, that's great. That sounds fun. Yeah, she's super
and the original idea was to interview other authors, right?
Oh, yeah, thank you. So the original idea was just to interview authors. And so when I pitched it to you, you were like, I get asked that too.
Yeah.
And what if we expanded to all creatives? And I was like,
well, it was so funny too, because I remember this conversation vividly, because it wasn't in person. It was over the summer. I was on contract doing a show. And I was on my day off, and I was at the movie theater, and you called me while I was walking into my movie, and you pitched me the idea, and I immediately went, I have an idea.
Yep.
And you went, I know exactly what you're going to say, and I love it. And I said it, and you were like, that's exactly what I thought you were going to say. And I hadn't thought about it till you said, I have an idea.
Yep.
And it all showed up.
As soon as you said, hear me out.
I said, exactly. I said, hear me out.
Hear me out. And I was like, oh, yes. Everybody, actors, authors, everybody, musicians. I was like, yes. And so that's a good question.
That was a great question.
That's a good question.
I love that.
That was where the idea came from.
Yeah.
Like so many of the things we do, it ends up being synergistic between us.
Yeah.
So
let's see what's next. This is a good one. You both seem to have a lot going on. How do you keep it all straight?
Oh yeah, I'm asked that a lot.
Yeah, because I guess we don't really talk about we talk a little bit about ourselves.
Yeah.
But we can say right now what we do outside of the podcast for those who don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
Sure. So I am a stage actor primarily in musical theater. And I've performed all around the country doing that. But I'm also a filmmaker. I am a writer and a director. And my first short film was shot and made this past summer.
And you also teach.
I also teach. I do private coaching. Well, not voice lessons, but acting lessons and acting the songs,
audition
stuff
coaching.
like that. Audition coaching.
Audition coaching.
And I do master classes and talkbacks with student groups.
Yeah. Just
a couple things.
So
yeah.
And so how do you keep it all straight?
It's very compartmentalized for me. I think that's actually, it's really interesting. I really don't have a crossover between them. They're very much, this is what I'm working on. The acting stuff, I find, I'm working on my audition, because the job of, you say you're a professional actor, that kind of means you're a professional auditioner. So, I learned my audition material and I tape those, but that's kind of a day thing for me. Whereas, my writing, my, editing this podcast, that's a thing, you do all the pre-production for the podcast. You do the scheduling, stuff, the logistics, and then I do the editing, I do the uploading, I do the shorts, all that stuff. And that stuff, as well as my writing, that's more of an evening thing for me. And so I'll do that at night, and I have some of my best writing ideas at night. And talking with other people for pitching my next film and putting together my team. It's all very compartmentalized for me. I don't have a lot of crossover, and when I'm working on my acting, I'm not thinking about my film stuff, and vice versa. So it's almost different sides of me completely, even though they are in very similar niches.
So yeah, that's actually fascinating, because it's not compartmentalized for me. It's really kind of fluid. It's actually pretty fluid. I mean, I focus on a single task at a time.
Talk about what you do. For people who don't know.
People just don't know.
Well, listen, we've got listeners from all over. It shocked me.
It's true.
We really do.
You get so involved in your own small world, your own minutia, that you just sort of assume people know things.
You got people. It's like who are these people? We're just here for the interviews,
And so I am an author. I am late to the author game because I had an entire professional career doing other things. So I really only became an author about a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago now. I'm not sure. I've got one book out, and I've got one manuscript that's currently being beta read. It's in the final stages. And my first book was in that self-help, motivation, inspiration space. And that actually spawned a career as a speaker And I created a newsletter, which provides not only, author updates, but also guidance to help people through difficult times, grief or joy, or meet your goals, or whatever. It changes every couple weeks.
Someone described it as a memoir of advice.
Oh, my book.
And your book, and I really like it.
Oh, I like that phrase. I like a memoir of advice. Yeah, because it is very personal. I do talk a lot about like personal life lessons. I provide anecdotes, and slim little book, not your typical self-help book. Kind of the opposite. But so I do that. I do public speaking. I have my newsletter that I put out every other week, which it actually takes kind of a long time because I do researching for it. Yeah. But I also, what else do I do? I feel like I do stuff all the time. Oh, I have this podcast, and I have another podcast that I do with Cyrus on the book. And I'm actually exploring another podcast with a woman who is a professional editor, and we're going to be looking at doing some maybe a collaboration to teach on that.
But you don't compartmentalize like I do.
All kind of, the only thing I compartmentalize is my current writing, because what I'm currently writing right now is not in that self-help motivational space. It's not in that outreach space. It's very much a fictional novel. It's a fiction novel. Fiction novel, relationship story, a little bit steamy.
Oh, well, that's actually really good, because that kind of leads into another question that we have on here.
But do you want to know how I stay organized?
Yes, stay organized. And then yes, do that, and then we'll lead into that question.
This is a thing, because here's how I keep organized, right? I set reminders for myself that go off all the day long. All day long. And I was like, it's because I also do, you do the reels for this, but I do all the posts. I do all the stories, rather.
Yeah, you do. You do stories about the podcast.
I do the stories. So for me, social media is still an active effort that takes time, because I'm still getting proficient with it. Mm-hmm. But that's how I do that. I use a paper calendar, and I have I have timer and reminds.
I love it. But it does lead. Okay, really, go. We got a couple individual questions, but my favorite one. Sorry if we don't get it to your question. By the way, we got a lot of really great questions, and I don't want this to be like a 17-hour long episode. Kind of but for Allie, what's it like being an author whose first book is in self-help but is now doing fiction?
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, when I finished the first book, I remember I had an interview, and someone said to me the book had just come out, and someone said, was like, well, when's the next book coming out? When's the follow-up book? And I was like, yeah, I'm not writing a follow-up book. And then I get asked a lot, like, when's the next book? Like, people wanted the next book.
Yeah.
And so I started writing it. And you're going to think this is so crazy. Oh my gosh, I don't even know if I should. I'm going to say it.
Say it.
I got bored.
Really?
I was like, I've been there, done that. I wrote this kind of book. I literally am 3/4 of the way through the follow-up. I have
Wait, I didn't even know this.
Yeah.
You didn't tell me this.
Yeah, the dining table, it's got all my little stacks. Yeah. One of those stacks is that second book. I have 4 different books on that table. There's 4, there's like 6 piles.
Well, yeah.
4 of them are separate books.
Are books, yeah.
Yeah. So one of them's the Adventures of Jack, which is the mouse,
which is the children's book, which I'm really, I know that you've sort of sidelined that.
Yeah.
But I really like that book, and I think at some point it's going to be really, really good.
Yeah, I'll get back to it.
It's really,
so
I love that book.
I've got 3/4 of my second book, which includes a workbook. It includes a workbook on how to help people achieve their goals, find their motivation, reach their targets. And I was just like, I kept having this idea niggling in my mind. I was like, this story kept coming back to me. And I was like, it's a little bit so it's autobiographical, this thing I'm working on now. And it's funny because I mentioned it to one woman. She's like, oh, and are you such and such a character? And I'm like, no, because I'm like every character.
Yeah.
And every character
that happens sometimes when you write. It really does.
Yeah,
It's really interesting, but it's really funny that you have all these different projects, and some of them have been sidelined, and some of them are like active, because I've got the same thing with my screenwriting.
Yeah, you do.
And we've talked about, I know that there's some that like, or even just like, they haven't gone as far as the idea. I know that you talked about, you had almost like a sort of like a suspense sort of like a thing where like you didn't really know what was going on, and I won't spoil what that was, but that only got as far as like the talking stage.
Yeah.
You know, and I've got some of those. I've got
Yeah.
a boxing film that's only gone as far as the talking stage, and then I've got films that are partially way through, and I you know, gave up on halfway through because I'm like, I need to take a break from this. I'm not feeling it right now.
Yeah.
So that's fun. We're kind of the same in that.
I enjoy the process of writing.
Yeah.
I enjoy the process of writing, the actual writing of it. And yet I don't spend enough time on it to really, you know, people who pump out like, I don't know how they do it, 3, 4, 5 books a year. I'm like,
well, we've got a couple
dude,
guests in season 2 who just are prolific writers.
Yeah, I know. I'm just so they must just sit down and just, you know, so yeah,
that's really good. Okay. Should I do one for me then, since I was an individual?
Did I answer that question?
You did.
Did I? Okay.
No, you did. Wait, you didn't.
Wait.
How did you? Your first book is in self-help, but now you're doing fiction. What's it? Well, I guess you kind of did. What's it like
being
transitioning?
An author whose first book is self-help but is now fiction. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just writing.
You're just writing.
It's just doing my thing. I actually am writing. I'll be honest. I have books in 4 different genres in my 4 current books. So. Yeah,
I love that. I think I'm realizing that this episode is going to be very, very low edit, very just chilling. We're just we're hanging out with you guys on this episode.
Are you on drugs?
This is no, you know what? This is our standard podcast episode. Yeah, you know, because like most people's podcasts are just people we're just chatting and yapping about what's going on in our lives. And we're like, we've got all this like organization. We're like, we've got these questions and we're doing this with these guests. And like, we think about it. But this is just us vibing with you guys.
There's nobody giving us input for us to like, what does that
most of the time we're not the focus. We're trying to put it on them. And now we're just.
So what's your question?
Okay. For Kyle, you kept mentioning a short film you made.
Kept mentioning.
Where can I watch it? Thanks, whoever asked that question. Jesus, you kept mentioning. I wrote and directed my very first short film, The Call, and we shot that back in July, and we wrapped up post-production in early October for that. So you cannot see that anywhere online right now. What's happening is we are going through the film festival circuit, which means we've sent our film to a bunch of film festivals across the country and even a couple international festivals. And if they want to program it for their festival, they will accept it and it will screen it there at their festival. And that's kind of how short films work. You know, some people are just like, I made a short film and I'm going to put it up on YouTube and get as many eyeballs on it as possible. For me and my team, we wanted to do a festival run so that we could, network with other industry professionals, so that we could, on a fun note, travel across the country a little bit and, see other, knock wood, we might not get into any festivals. We'll see.
Can I just offer, somebody asked me a question, actually not that long ago about your film.
Yeah.
They watched the trailer, which is available, and you should go look at it.
You can see the trailer on my YouTube page.
Oh, did you shoot that in your house? I don't live in a mansion.
Absolutely not. I wish I had a house that looked that nice. No, we actually. I don't
know about nice. It's
a
hallway.
But it's like this fancy, colorful hallway, and then there's this like big room, and like it's a piano, and
I was just like. No,
like,
man,
absolutely not.
No.
We actually, it was funny. So the movie is an audition drama. The log line is a young actress goes into the biggest callback of her career, only to come face to face with the volatile composer of this new musical, who's deciding whether or not she gets the role. So, we actually shot it on location at one of the biggest audition studios in New York City, a place called Ripley Greer Studios, where I would say maybe about 40% of my auditions over the course of my career have taken place.
Yeah.
So,
and that's actually an interesting story because you rented the studio overnight.
Well, right? It wasn't overnight.
Well,
we looked for overnights and we looked for different things, and it was going to be. We asked another studio, Pearl Studios, originally, and they went, if you've got like $20,000 and you want to shoot from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. and do an overnight shoot, and we were like, that's not gonna happen. So we reached out to Ripley Greer, which is where we ended up shooting, and it was a thing where. We did the inside of the room, which is the majority of the film, inside of this one room. We just had to rent this one room, and we rented it from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. But I really wanted this hallway shot to open
10
and
a.m.
close
to
the film.
6 p.m. or
Yeah.
the other way around?
10 a.m. to 6
Oh,
p.m.
you
We
went-
shot it during the day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
a day long shoot.
Okay.
And
I learned something new.
and so but then we needed this hallway shot, and they said, well, for you to shoot in our hallways, you have to rent out the entire wing. So we had to rent every room on the Ripley Greer owns the 10th floor, the 16th floor, and the 17th floor of this building. We had to rent the entire 10th floor for about 2 hours, which was probably our biggest expense of the shoot. But it was so worth it, and it was a lot of fun. We had a great cast that came through, and for those shots, we had a bunch of extras. And that just came from me posting on my social media and asking if anyone wanted to be an extra in a film. And I had just a couple dozen friends.
So keep an eye out for the next film.
So keep an eye out for the next one. Yeah. Great. I think that probably answers that one. What's
more
the
than
next
they
one?
want.
Oh, how do you... Ouch. Jesus Christ. Wow.
I think we're giving them way more than they want. They're looking for like 2-word answers, and we're giving them like paragraphs.
Okay. How do you decide which guests to invite? What makes a good fit for the show?
Oh, wow. Yeah, because that's so dependent.
And it's
so
interesting
variable.
because we
Wow.
both, we kind of do, but for the most part for season 1, we didn't really coordinate our guests.
No.
It was sort of a thing where we went, oh, I've got someone that I know
I've got
through my
someone,
career.
what do you think
And
of?
you go,
'Cause we
I've got
did-
someone
we
from my
did
career. What do you think of
verify
that?
check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So it came from personal acquaintances or circles.
people we knew from
people we knew
our
from the
respective
industry.
industries, or
Yeah.
people
or through
we
other
reached
people,
out,
or
friend of a friend of a friend type
Mhm,
things.
something
So
like that. And we really did try to get a good breadth. We didn't want to have like all authors,
Yeah.
all actors, because of course that goes back to the very first question.
yeah.
We wanted to have, all creatives, so we wanted to have a good smattering of creatives represented. And
we
I'm
were
actually
very
kind of excited for
particular
season
about picking
2.
out the lineup too, to make sure that we
Yeah.
had a we went from filmmaker to to media personality to actor to
author.
pole athlete and author to
Yeah,
we really
yeah.
tried to space them out in a
Yeah.
way where it sort of had a narrative through line, but we
Yeah.
didn't have
And we're
like
still kind of
3
doing that. I
authors
mean,
in a
we're
row.
finding our guests through our personal connections, through people we know, reaching
But we're
out
also
to,
starting to have people reach out
we're
because the
having a lot
podcast
of
has done
people
pretty
reach
well
out
so
to us.
far.
Yeah, we're having, and it's great.
Yeah.
I love that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know, all kinds of fun
And this is
people out
actually,
there.
I should have mentioned this
All right,
earlier.
go ahead.
But I do want to share that season 1 did really well. We had tens of thousands of people who've engaged with the content. We've got, our episodes have spanned, I think, 4 continents now.
Something
we
like
have
that.
viewership
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
and
one of Makita's reels.
one of
is just,
Makita's
like,
reels by itself
crazy. It
has
has, like,
over
11,000
10,000 views. So
crazy.
that is a lot of fun, and even more to come. We're super excited about
season
that.
2 and
Season 2 and 3 are
going
going to be great.
Really amazing.
Which,
Okay.
spoiler alert for you guys, we're currently recording both seasons 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
we'll have a couple little things, which actually leads into a question.
Okay.
There's a question here that I saw earlier. Any spoilers you can reveal for season 2?
Yes, we're having some really amazing guests in fields that are non-traditional, including, should we say,
We can say a couple of them.
opera singer.
We've got an opera singer. We've
Yeah.
got a celebrity
We
photographer.
do a celebrity.
We've got
a composer.
A composer. We've got, if you watched RuPaul's Drag Race, you're going to be very excited about one of our guests.
Yeah.
And I think that's all we should give them
that's
for
all we
now.
should give away.
Um,
That's plenty. That's more
okay,
than we should.
That's more than we
probably.
should. But you know what? I think it's good. What is your actual recording process like? Is it chaotic, structured, or in between?
Yes.
Yes, all of the above. It can be a little bit insane.
It's our our actual recording. Golly, should we reveal that? I don't know.
We can reveal a little bit.
Yeah.
So we've got our little setup here. We've got,
Our little
lighting in the
setup,
background. We've got our
lighting.
background, our
We
mics,
have to lock the cat into the bedroom if she's not napping.
because sometimes she
'Cause
just starts
occasionally she just
meowing in
starts
the middle
meowing.
bit of
Play with
an
me, play
interview.
with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, the recording process is we just basically
Yeah, we do our
get
Google
things set
Meet.
up. I get
and
things set
we
up,
set it up,
and then you take care of getting the Google Meet like open and going.
Yeah.
And then we usually welcome our guest offline, and we say hi, and we explain how the interview is going to go, and then we hit the record button and we do our introduction, and we officially welcome
our whole thing,
and then we say bye. Should we reveal the little reveal?
So
we don't actually say
they don't actually go off when they do that. We hit pause on the recording and chat with them for a little bit, and then once they get off,
and we tell them how things are going to how things are going to move going forward and all that kind of stuff.
And then once they get offline, then we record our wrap up and we chat. So there's actually probably about a 10-minute gap between us saying goodbye and having our little post-show wrap-up chat where we do what did you think of our guest. So that's our process.
That's the process. And also the process is, at least for me, is I come up with a couple, 3, 4, 5 questions that I want to ask. And I think you do too. You come up with a small handful of questions, and then honestly we listen, and things strike us.
We let it flow.
If
the conversation goes in a certain direction, we
I've had times where there have been a couple questions where I didn't ask.
There are times where I asked almost none of my questions because we just head in a direction I wasn't expecting, and they bring up such interesting things that just spark new questions.
We just want to pursue that.
And
a lot of times you'll even in our wrap up, sometimes we've mentioned
we should have asked that,
that. just so many questions that come up. So people are fascinating.
Great. They are. Do you ever disagree on the creative direction of the show? If so, how do you handle that?
Well, I'm the mom, so I get my way.
Well, no, there have been times where one of us pitches a guest and the other one's like, I don't know if that's it's creative directions. Like, I don't know if that's the right fit for the show.
Yeah. We've each had one of those.
So. And there's,
but I mean, but it's a joint show. And I'm going to guess you're not going to try to push for a guest that the other one doesn't want.
No, definitely not. We want guests that are interesting for both of us.
Okay. Then we always provide a reason.
Yeah. Yeah. If we, there's a time where we have a guest where it's like, I don't know if it
doesn't fit for this reason.
And it's like, I don't,
or we've already had, 4 actors.
It's like, we can't have another musical theater actor this season. We've had,
theater this season, please. Maybe in the future.
We'll take a pause.
But we don't have conflict. We don't disagree or anything. I think we've got a really nice division of labor, and we work collaboratively.
Exactly.
And we both want to do this. This isn't this isn't something either of us was pushed into or forced into.
No,
it's something
and it's not, it's not a cash grab, and it's not a whatever. It's very much like we had this idea to do this together.
No money here.
As you can see, there haven't been any ad reads so far.
No, gotta hit that 10,000 follower thing before we can.
Listen, and if we ever do an ad read, it'll be for a brand that we actually like.
Yeah, and if that ever happens,
you'll never get a gambling ad from us.
No.
Anyways, this is actually fun. Are there any interviewers who influenced how you go about your show?
Oh my God.
I've got an answer. Do you have an answer?
Go.
I am the biggest Nardwuar fan. Some of you know who he is. He's the guy who does like interviews with like musicians, and he's, other people, and he like dives so deep into it where he'll like do an interview with someone and he'll be like, now what can you tell me about, and he'll name some like random restaurant. And he's like, wait, how do you know that was my favorite restaurant when I was 15 years old? Or he'll like start naming people. He said, you're naming my friends from the 5th grade,
right?
And I'm a big fan of Nardwuar because he just does so much research. And, we're obviously not going that deep with ours, but I do like to, I do like to do my research. And, there were a couple times during this season where I like pulled out a question. I was like, you said in an interview once, and they're like, where did you find that? They're like, and that makes me really happy to do that. What about you?
This is so interesting because you and I have talked about this before, right?
Yeah.
Like we don't coordinate our questions or anything like that. Like we have our handful of questions where we don't share anything. We sit down at the same time at the table and welcome the guests. We don't.
Which I actually prefer because
I like it too.
It's fun that way because we don't know what's going on.
You said it not that long ago. You're like, it's really interesting how we always come at a guest from such different perspectives.
Yeah.
And our questions differ. Like,
you've never asked a question where I was like, damn, that was on my list.
You have asked one question that was on my list.
Mm-hmm.
One.
Yeah.
And I was like, I think I even said I was going to ask that, because I was so surprised. But I'll be honest, like your case. So your interview or influence suggestion thing.
Yeah.
So mine, it's kind of dorky too.
Uh-huh.
I really like Josh Horowitz.
Yeah.
Like he talks with creatives, he talks with celebrities, mostly
Mhm.
actors and whatnot, but he just asks the most fun questions. And if you've watched the show, I always like to ask a fun question at the end, right? And so he always asks fun questions. And I think that that's where that influenced me, because I love the fun question.
Yeah.
And the only regret I have about my fun question right now is that I didn't ask a really good fun question of one of our guests.
For season 2? Or,
yes.
yeah.
Who was associated with RuPaul. I had a really good question and I didn't ask. So I have to hold it for when and if that person ever comes back.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's interesting.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, that's so Josh Horowitz has influenced my fun question.
Yeah, I also think there's one that I feel like kind of influences both of us that I haven't thought about.
Yeah.
What was the name of the guy? He used to do the movie reviews on the local news channel.
Oh, totally love that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, what was his name?
I don't remember. I forget his name, but he did the local movie reviews on,
and he had like
Fox
movie
5
stubs
morning
for
news.
when he was like a kid,
and he always asked the best questions of the directors and the actors whenever they came through. That
100%. So we'll have to figure out who that is.
I can't remember his name, but I love that guy.
Anymore, so.
Okay. What else? What's your favorite moment or episode from season 1? That's a good one. I
have a favorite moment from episode either 2 or 3 that we just recorded.
For season 2 or 3?
Yeah, we haven't decided where to place it yet.
Yeah.
I think season 2. But I don't know.
For season 1, I would say, what do you think's your favorite episode? Let's just do favorite episode.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite episode?
I would say my favorite episode is probably I think it might have been the Makita episode.
Oh, she's so
fun. Because that episode was so... that was my favorite
Makita.
Episode to record, I think.
She and I would be besties
if
we were neighbors.
So fun. It was so fun. She's such a character. Yeah. But I think my favorite episode to watch back when I was editing, and my favorite episode to consume, was probably that first episode with Sam Henderson. Just because we had, when we recorded it, we had just seen his short film about a week before.
It was so impactful.
So getting to chat with him just after that, and then hearing all those answers, and then going back and watching it later when I was editing and recording, it was a fascinating chat, and he really gave us so much.
So much.
What about you?
It would be easier to say which is my least favorite, but I don't think I can do my favorite, because each one of them, and I'm really, swear to God, not trying to cop out here, but I have enjoyed all of them. Really, I have. I mean, there have been a couple that I might have enjoyed a little less.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think I have a least favorite episode from season 1.
If you're asking what my most favorite is, there has to be a least favorite.
I guess
yin and
so.
Yang,
I guess so.
Two sides of the sliced bread. But
I feel like it's like a 5-way tie for my 4th favorite episode.
Exactly.
Is my least favorite.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's exactly right. Yeah, I really genuinely have.
And the margin's like this. It's like super tiny.
All of the episodes. I really enjoyed, for instance, Cyrus Webb.
Because
he is such an amazing interviewer.
Yeah.
Right? Guinness
World record holding interviewers. So putting him on the other side of the table.
Him on the other side was really fascinating. And also, frankly, he revealed some very
intimate and personal things. That was special.
And gave us an inside sneak peek. What do they call it? Exclusive,
yeah.
And
yeah, I love Cyrus's
things he hadn't really shared before, and that was fascinating. And I mean, our finale, Robert Blake Whitehill,
that was great.
I've known him since high school. We weren't really friends because we were in different classes, and just reconnected with him fairly recently. And
in the last couple of years,
fascinating to see his whole process, because he's doing so many things.
Yeah.
And also, he gave a shout out to my book.
He did. There we go.
I mean, in fairness, he was feeling burnout, and my book helped.
Yeah,
so that was
that's
really huge.
Really special, and that's the whole
was really special. So for
thing
me,
that your book was
that's
about.
My favorite, because it touched me in my other aspects.
Yeah,
like it was a personal sort of connection there. So, but I don't know. I mean, Makita was.
Well, now I want to shout out all the episodes, because there's fun things from every episode.
Really were. There were
I loved our chat with
every
Deanna. There was a couple moments in Dan's episode that really made me laugh. Marcus gave us such fascinating insights.
Oh, Marcus,
in like a business of the creative side, which was so
that
cool.
That was interesting,
and
especially going from the NFL, right?
Yeah,
NFL to, and really his thing was all his process is a process.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
No kidding.
it was just like, oh, shift my perspective a little. It was really,
Yeah.
I'll be
then,
honest,
of course,
I can't.
Kyle Hester being a fully indie filmmaker, and Jim Price with his children's book. That's such a
Jim Price,
I love having a
such
couple
an inspirational
unique
story.
people, because we're gonna have the actors, we're gonna have the authors, we're gonna have the filmmakers. These like sort of like what you think of when you think of like, oh, someone is like a creative, but having people like Jim Price and Makita, and we've got a couple of those, next season we've got a celebrity photographer, people who are like
who are not normally in front of the camera necessarily.
They're sort of behind the scenes and they're so interesting.
And Jim is just such a genuinely kind person. Just a God, doing such good work. Like
did we
trying
name
to
all
make
of our guests? I'm gonna feel horrible if there was like one guest that we didn't name.
Amazing.
I think we hit.
So, I don't know. I wasn't counting. I was just remembering.
Ellis. Shout out Ellis, who's one of my best friends and was amazing.
Yeah. He's a nice.
And if we missed someone, we loved your episode too. I promise. I promise.
It's hard to remember.
It's hard to remember just off the top of your head, right?
Other recordings.
What else?
But like, that's a tough question.
That is
Who's
a
your
tough
favorite
question.
child?
What's your favorite? Exactly right. Any funny behind the scenes stories or bloopers that you had to edit out?
Yes.
So many.
So
I will say
this is how we normally are.
This is how we normally are.
So this entire episode is the big blooper that was edited out.
but I'll say we didn't have that much as far as editing during our interviews.
Yeah, no, not during.
We had a couple little things where we cut things for time, or like something happened or someone's dog started barking in the background and we had to pause and reset and do things like that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it was pretty clean. What was difficult was doing our wrap ups the first couple times. There's a few episodes where so we'd end the recording and then Allie would send me the recording clips, and it'd usually be 2 or 3 clips. It'd be the clip from the interview, and then we'd pause it, and then it'd be the clip from the wrap up, and then maybe if we had to redo the intro because the intro didn't go the way we wanted. Some of those were I'd get 12 clips because we'd try and do our wrap up and we get 30 seconds in and we'd be or
I bust out laughing.
Or you would bust out laughing, or one of us would say something that we didn't want to say and we'd be we gotta restart. You'd make an offhand comment. I'd be we can't have that there. We can't do that. No.
Yeah,
it was great. So
although I will say
we've gotten a lot better at it. We've gotten a lot better at it.
We're taking ourselves more seriously now.
We're taking ours, and we've got
tell.
Oh yes, we're super serious now.
Super serious.
We're gonna get into season 2 and go back into interviews, and they're gonna be like, "What is
Who
this?
Are these people?
Who are these people?" Because
Wait,
they've seen
the real stuff.
Who's more likely to go off on a tangent during a show? I think that's me. I think it's me
during the show. I'm good during the show,
but you'll go off on a tangent during our wrap up.
Yeah, I'll be like, woo,
and I'll be like, where are we going?
You'll be like, I'm like, dude.
Well, there'll be sometimes
for 5
where we're talking and I go off on a tangent and I'm just because I have all these ideas going on, and you'll nudge me under the table. You're like lock in.
Wrap it up, dude.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh yeah. And then I'll get to the edit when I'm editing and I'm like, oh, I gotta
cut this 7 minutes out.
I gotta trim something because that is a mess. What else? Oh, that's a good one. And I don't know if you have one, but I have one for you. What is a habit or tick your co-host does that you find funny that they might not even realize they do?
What?
You say denouement so much.
I do.
And nobody knows what that means.
I never said
you
don't say denouement.
You say denouement all the time.
In the show?
In the show, mid-show. You'll be like, oh, and that's your denouement. And our guest will be like, yeah, anyways, so you've done it.
What a denouement
You did it a couple times in season 1. But just spoiler alert for seasons 2 and 3, you've done it a bunch of times in those. And every time you do it, I just go,
oh, I have zero recollection of that.
All the time.
Wow. It's because I'm just thinking.
Mm-hmm. It should be it should be a drinking game for people listening to the podcast. Anyone who wants to marathon every episode of the podcast with a group of friends, that can be one of the take a shot things. Take a shot when Allie says denouement. Take a shot when I go on a random tangent.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Except you're cutting out your random tangents mostly, aren't you?
Yeah, cutting some of it,
maybe.
you know.
Yeah, it'd be blocky otherwise.
Yeah.
The only thing you do is your leg bounces under the table sometimes, and then I feel like you're it's like, I'm like, what? What are you trying to tell me? What are you communicating to me under the table?
My leg is just bouncing.
And I'm like writing notes to you. What?
I'm like, why are you writing on my paper? I'm fine. You'll be like, I have one question left. I've written down, and I'm like,
so?
Okay, and I was like, great, I've got like 3.
Yeah,
so I'm like,
sharing.
That's nice. That's funny. That's good.
Denouement, huh?
Denouement.
Zero awareness of that.
Oh, this is a good one, and I think this might be a good one to wrap up on.
Okay, all right, yeah.
What are your dream guests for the future of the podcast?
What was that?
What are your dream guests for the future of the podcast? And so I've got an idea for this, and tell me if I think we should do, because we've got some dream guests that like, and we can just, this can be like an inside scoop we've reached out to. Yeah. Some inside guests that we've reached out to, and that we're trying to get on the show, that like we have a contact there, and it's just either a scheduling thing or like waiting for them to get back to us or something like that. So I think we should do our dream guests that we've reached out to, that we're trying to get on the show, and then our dream guests, like pie in the sky if you could have anyone on the show, because there's levels to it, you know, like there's, you know, yeah. So do you want to do our
I know that I have one guest who agreed to be on the show, and then it just didn't work out.
It's because
she's actually
she's very,
in our promo material.
She's very, very busy.
But she actually said she would love to be on our show,
and we're just trying to find a time that'll make it work.
It's just not happening right now. So, but that's Janet Ivanovich, who is the New York Times bestselling author of
60 times
highly successful Stephanie Plum series, and more recently, she has written the second in her Gabriella Rose series. And in fact, I just finished reading The King's Ransom.
The King's Ransom,
that book. I just finished it. Actually, I finished over Thanksgiving, and I need to do a little short on it. Oh, that's another thing I do. You
do your shorts on your YouTube channel. What this author reads.
What this author reads. Yeah, that's another thing I do.
And so Janet, come on the show whenever you're not busy with a bazillion things.
Bazillion press tour, everything.
I think
she's actually touring with her daughter.
She is,
which is kind of cool.
Which is very cool.
The show with my son.
Yeah. So my guest that I've reached out to that I would really like to have on the show that we haven't, and it didn't get as far as yours. We haven't heard back from him. But I would really love to have him on the show, and it's a little bit niche. Is a guy named Kevin Kasar, who you might also know as Karrion Kross or Killer Kross. He is a professional wrestler. He had a run as the NXT World Champion in the WWE. He's performed all across the world at a bunch of different productions. He's also a wonderful actor. He's got a short film that he starred in that came out this year that is just really great. And I find him fascinating because this is my little coming out as a wrestling fan, because I love professional wrestling, and I'll tell you why. It's because it's just theater.
It's soap opera.
It's soap opera. It's reality TV, and it's theater
mixed with incredible athleticism.
With incredible athleticism. I always say it's literally just Broadway with big beefy men throwing each other around.
Yeah,
it's
way too drama for me.
But I will say, and I love it. And some of the acting is very cheesy and whatever, and some of the storylines.
I don't know. Some of those actors are pretty good.
But the thing is, some of them are really good. And the thing with now going by Killer Kross on the independent wrestling circuit, the thing with Killer Kross is he has such a distinct character, and he created this fascinating narrative that really blew up throughout early 2025, and he had a whole, people were cheering at shows that he wasn't even on. They wouldn't give him any screen time, and the audience would be cheering, "We want Kross. Wow. We want Kross," because he was that dynamic and that interesting. And so I'm a huge fan of him. I think that his character work is so fascinating. I want to have him as a guest on the show.
Yeah.
I want him in one of my I've got a screenplay I'm writing right now with a character that I want for him. So Kevin, if this gets to you, please come on the show. I want to talk to you so bad, dude. So yeah, that's those are our
Come on the
people.
show, be in his film.
Be in my film. Let's be friends.
Yeah, right.
let's work together for the next like 30 years. Let's do it.
Totally bench press you, but
yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's do our like swing for the fences guests. So like dream guest that's like out
Who's
of
your dream guest?
Oh, okay. I
if
can
I've
do mine
thought
first.
about
I've got one, and
Okay,
I know
who-
exactly who it is. It's
All right.
Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah, that's a swing for the fences.
So to me, Christian
Wow.
Bale is one of, if not the greatest actor alive. He's just got such a fascinating process. You know, he will lose 100 pounds for a role and put himself into like anorexia, and then a year later he's put on 100 pounds of muscle to play Batman, and then he's put on another 100 pounds to like play Dick Cheney. You know, and he is just.
Is it all about the weight gain for you?
Well, I mean, it's about giving yourself fully
No, I'm
over
kidding.
to the
It's
to
about
the character.
fully committing and
He
embracing the
commits
role.
completely. And I heard him say once in an interview, he said, if I've got the choice to pretend and like act or just do something, I'm just gonna do it because it's gonna look more real.
Mm.
And I love that. You know, he talked about how, you know, he would like, you know, things that like other actors, you know, like put rocks in his shoes to like make him uncomfortable and like give him a limp and like things like, it's just like
Marbles and
well,
in, what's his name's mouth? What was that,
well,
cotton or marbles?
well, it was
in Marlon Brando's mouth.
Marlon
in
Brando
Godfather.
put it was what's it called, the like it like cut up his mouth. It wasn't cotton. It was like like the stuff that you like clean like
Sandpaper?
dishes with. No, that you like.
Oh, like a scruffy?
No.
Scouring pad.
Like the metal stuff, like the
like a Brillo kind of thing.
yeah, that kind of like a
Yeah, I know what you're talking. Those wire mesh.
yeah, the
spongy
wire
things.
mesh. But
my
and so it was like his mouth was all like cut up.
Ugh.
But he was like, I want to do this.
Wow,
Yeah. So I mean, it's, you know, these actors who you call like quote unquote method, and you know, there's different ranges to what like the method is and what that means and what that actual acting process is. And I can talk for hours about, you know, contemporary method versus like what, you know, the method under Lee Strasberg actually is, and it's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But he is one of the most fascinating actors and gives himself over completely to every role. And I'd love to sit down and interview him.
That Ford versus Ferrari role was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of his have been.
I'll be honest.
Of course, he played Patrick Bateman.
He played Patrick Bateman in American Psycho,
which
is a role that I've done
Yeah.
on stage. And, you know, I find a lot of inspiration from him, not just from that, but across the board.
I don't have a swing for the fences. I mean,
Yes,
I'd love
you
to
do. I'm
interview-
sure you do. Your dream guest.
I don't know if it's a dream guest because I tend to be a little more practical than you. Honestly, this is kind of dorky.
Uh-huh.
I would love to have Josh Horowitz on.
Okay.
I mean, he is so good at interviewing other people, and it's kind of like a Cyrus thing. I would love to hear how he goes about coming, because his questions are so fresh and fun, you know, and like I'd be really interested in his process for how he does that. Maybe we'll learn something.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's my swing for the fences guest is Josh Horowitz. So if you're hearing this, my cat and I both want you to come on the show.
I'm not sure if the mic's picking it up, but she's meowing super heavy right now.
Yeah, we didn't lock her up. So.
That's
I think the other questions are starting to duplicate a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like that's a really good way to wrap it up too.
Right,
I feel like that's good. So if you're any of those 4 people, come on the show. And if you're also someone who's in a creative field and is interested in coming on the show, feel free to
reach out.
Feel free to reach out, and if
reach
it's a right fit, we'd be happy to have you on the show.
Especially if it's a unique creative field, or if you've got a new project that's coming up, that
that's exciting that you want to promote. We're always down to do that.
Yeah, totally.
And
we're all about helping people.
Yeah,
helping artists for sure.
Yeah,
artists need help.
They really do.
They do 100%.
Well, in the meantime, thank you all so much for tuning in for our season finale of So What's Your Process. We're so glad you joined us, and hope you had as much fun as we did chatting today. We're going to have a little bit of a break, a few weeks, and then we're going to come back with season 2. And should I give them a little teaser on who's going to open season 2?
No.
No?
If you want.
Well, all I'll say...
Should we?
all I'll say
Obliquely.
is season 2's opener is our biggest guest yet,
Yeah.
and is someone
He's
who
super funny.
I'm happy to call a friend, and is a wonderfully talented person.
Yeah.
So
Good guy. Who?
oh, you've spoiled more
I
than I
spoiled the
have
guy.
by saying that it's a guy. Look at that. I was being smooth with it.
Okay.
So
I'll just keep my mouth shut.
so it's a guy.
It's a guy.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. We're so glad you joined us. Thank you so much for supporting us all the way through season 1, and we can't wait to be back for season 2 and share all these new exciting interviews. We're only leveling up from here. More guests, more interviews, more talks, and with all that being said, Allie,
Thank you for watching and supporting and following and liking us on So What's Your Process? And we will see you in January for season 2.
bye-bye.